And if, there was a moment at Warrior Week when we were setting our targets, and I was thinking about what my targets are going to be. So as I'm thinking, I'm doodling, and we're going around sharing our targets, and Coach BQ looks over. He's like, "What's that?" He's looking at my doodles. I'm like, "This?" He's like, "You draw?" I'm like, "Kind of."
You're messing around.
He's like, "Why don't you make your being target around art? Because
oh my gosh,
you look pretty good at it." I was like, "Oh, right." So where that led to was, that exercise, Brother, the Power I See in You? When I went home, that was sort of still sitting with me. And I decided I was going to do a painting for each of the brothers in my circle, Brother, the Power I See in You. And so what it was, a journal. And so when you open it up, you see the entire painting. And so that's what each cover of the journal was, the power that I see in you. And each one got one. And then I also did one for the coaches. And that sort of started down that path of doing art again.
I like how we're all wearing black. We're so that's all I have now is black.
I can put on some teal or something, man. Just
no, you're good, man. You're good. Like this dude, we're men now. We're Warrior Week. I'm still wearing my T-shirt from today's call.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I tell you what, when my wife and I first started dating, she looks in my closet. She's like, "Are you depressed?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "All your colors are black. It's like full insulin mode." I'm like, "What does insulin have to do with my clothes?" She's like, "It's just depressing. You need some color." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
I tell people, you can have whatever color you want as long as it's black. Black is easy. You just get up, black T-shirt, black pants, black socks, black, everything.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Darth Vader lives in my closet. What do you want me to do?
So where are you? You're in Southern California, right? Correct?
Yeah, I'm in LA, man.
LA.
Yep.
So, I was thinking we could talk, how I'd like to sort of explore what you do, you're CEO coach, that's interesting. And then how we got, because that goes into Warrior Week, because that's how we met. And then out of that, you're doing this artwork, which is pretty amazing. Anything else you want to cover? I mean, we can cover all kinds of stuff. We can talk Scottish accents, how that came about.
Whatever, man.
Ask you about,
just let it come out.
The fact
Whatever.
that you've never been. What's your background? Are you Filipino? Or what's going on?
You guessed. You got it.
Okay. So, but you were born in America.
Yeah.
And do you have any connections to your country? The old country?
I have never been.
Is there pressure to go?
There kind of is, but I have no desire to.
So are your parents from there? Are they old school? Were they
Yeah. Well, so
did you get
they came here in the 70s, and so I'm first generation born here.
Okay. So did your mom come after you with a flip-flop? I mean, is that what we're talking about?
No, dude, I got that, and I got the belt.
What about the wooden spoon? Any kind of wooden bamboo?
I didn't get that. I got the belt. I got the belt a lot.
Oh, damn.
Here's the worst part of it. When you grow up like that, and so when you fuck up, you're in trouble, right? And you're presented with the option,
of course,
the slipper or the belt. You choose, and it's like, I don't want either. They suck.
They both suck. I mean, come on, and even if not so bad, right?
Even if you said that, it would warrant getting another whap because you're being disrespectful.
Wait, by choosing, you're being disrespectful?
No, but even just saying something like, "Well, I don't want either because both choices suck."
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the worst part is when. Oh, so I got the switch. So in Greece we have grapevines everywhere, so it's easier to reach out, grab a vine, go, and that means all the leaves come off, and now you got a 4-foot, thing that can. She's got a 4-foot, 3 feet reach. So as you're running, she's coming after you, and she'd get me across the back of the calves.
Yeah.
So
belt and slipper.
I guess we
mostly the belt.
Corporal punishment.
Yeah.
My mom broke a couple of wooden spoons on my dad's head too when he was messing up with the business, spending too much money on the.
No rolling pins.
No rolling pins. That's hardcore, dude. My mom got frying pans thrown at her head. Frying pans. She has a scar underneath here from a frying pan. God.
Yikes.
So
you can't do that now, man.
You can't do that.
You can't do any of that.
You can't do that.
Kids are soft, man.
I mean, the worst is when the mom says, "Come here now," where if you come towards her, you're going to get it. But if you run, you're going to get it. So it's like a terrible, terrible conundrum. You want to run, but if you run, you're going to get it. Bad. If you go there, you're going to get it. So there's no winning.
Yeah, that's like you choose. I'm like, no, I don't want either.
All right, I'm gonna do an introduction, and I'm gonna just do a clap so I can. So, welcome. This is Costas Schuler. This is In the Zone with Costas Schuler, and today I'm honored to have on my best friend, Relax, Johnny Bocobo. So what's that? So as soon as I start doing introductions, you got all like. So let's continue talking. We were talking beforehand about Johnny. I met Johnny through Warrior Week. He's a little bit ahead of me. I think you guys have graduated, right? You've done your thing.
Yeah, we done graduated.
You've done graduating. You got a piece of paper that's on your wall, probably somewhere. It's still rolled up. Who knows? Is it rolled up or is it up on your wall?
It's rolled up.
The diploma is rolled up. Okay, so we're not
going
to
tell Coach. Because I want to frame it, but I haven't done it yet.
One of the guys in your group says one of the most expensive framed pieces of art I have on my wall. It cost you 2 years of your life, and then we're not going to mention the bill.
And blood, and sweat.
And blood, and
yeah.
So you guys are. So by the way, so Warrior Week, there's different classes. And so people don't know, there's different classes start, and you're the class of what? What's your class number?
65.
65. So what's very unique about your class, and I want to brag on you, that most of you guys are still together. So usually they start with 12 people typically, and I got the cat. Oh my gosh, this is live on there. Come on, cat, move along. I mean, this is live here. It's my cat Kachi. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. So class, typically it's like 12 people per class, and typically a lot of people, quit over the next 2 years. So you guys are like unique and weird that most of you are together. Is that correct?
Yeah, we started with 12, and then now there's 10 of us.
Pretty amazing. So, like, for those of the rest of us and the people coming along new, how did that happen? How did you do that? Like, is there any secret sauce that you guys are, got going on there?
We asked that of ourselves, and really, like, it's God, man.
Okay.
It's God at work. Because there were many times where this circle could have gone there, right? Even on graduation day, it could have gone there.
Yeah.
But through the grace of God and His hand at work, somehow it's His will to keep us all together.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, you guys talk to each other. I heard about I heard you guys are doing some things that, if someone doesn't show up to the calls, you're having a conversation. You got some interesting rules that we heard about today, so that's interesting. So
you guys know about that.
Well, Coach Max told us about that today because we're so my class was 67, but they combined us with 2 other classes because there's so many people that left these 3 other classes. They mushed us together. So with the 60s, there's 2 each of us. 2 each from every class, and as we're going to graduate in June, and we're going to go through the process, and we just had one quit right before that recently, so there's 6 of us. So we're just talking about what the process is of the last 2 years have been the coaches have been with us. Now they're handing the baton, and so we're starting to become more autonomous and learning how to run our own walls, how to run our own meetings and things like that. So it's sort of a process. So we heard about the good news about you guys and how you guys stay together, and you got some interesting rules about, when people are not showing up, you're having a conversation on the hot seat,
Yeah.
Hot seat.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that came about because, best way to put it, like, we were on a path to, right? And so
for people that don't know what you're talking about, and it's not Illuminati signs. We're not doing. This is the circle. Yeah, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing gang signs here. We're not none of that. This is like this. This is the circle.
I'm trying to make a circle.
Dude, your circles. You call yourself an artist, but your circles.
Yeah. Costas is like, you're doing an ellipse.
I can't draw a circle.
That there looks like an ellipse.
You look like an egg. Oh, you do a Southern accent too, I see. We can talk about that. So Johnny also does. Early on, I'm so ADHD, so I'm going to be jumping around. I hope not to do that too much. So
Squirrel.
The circle. We're talking about the circle. So there's a group of guys, and what's important is not the number of people, it's the shape. It's basically a circle.
Yep.
Okay. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
So what you're saying is that, you could have blown up, you could have disappeared all into, nothingness, but somehow you stayed together. And you've created
it's a willingness to do what the coaches did for us, which is collide, tackle, punch a brother in the face.
Not literally, but the conversation.
It's not always easy, but where we were all headed collectively was not good. And we all just kind of like you know what, 2 years of this, for it to go this way, no,
Yeah.
we're going to fight for this. So,
Was it somebody? Is it collectively like, man, we got to do something about this, or else we're gonna? Or did somebody step up? Not to name names. Was it a group decision, or was it like somebody said, "Hey, yeah, we're headed off the cliff here"?
I think it was one person. You know, maybe you experienced it in your circle, but like somebody's feeling something, but they haven't voiced it yet, and then somebody else is feeling the same thing, but they haven't voiced it yet. So it's
Yep.
a bunch of somebodies that are feeling something but haven't voiced it yet, but it's happening and unfolding in front of you.
Yeah.
And then finally, it just reaches a point where, like, I got to say this because this.
There's too much tension. There's tension.
Yeah.
By not saying something, it builds tension,
Yeah.
and somebody has to say something. And the tricky part is the person who's the first to say it is always like, man, am I being a, you know, there's this doubt that you have, like, am I being a little bitch, you know, or am I feeling something that's real? So you,
Yeah. You know what? I think within our circle, it's not taken that way. Like,
am I being
a little bitch? Right? Like, when it's put out there, we all we're like, yeah, that's the truth. That's the reality.
That's good. So, I mean, something I've learned over the last 2 years is having collisions is that it's the conversations you are avoiding having. They're difficult to have conversations with your clients, your family, your wife, your kids, whoever, your friend. It's a conversation you have to have that needs to happen, or else things are not going to go well. So learning to collide is been one of the most, that changed my life. Like so we have a week long where we do the Warrior Week thing, and there's a part of it where we literally, they prep us, and they did this to us. They split us in 2 groups and no shirts, and we were about to fight each other, like, you know. And I mean, that messed me up because I saw like medical equipment there. I'm like, what's going on here? And they didn't tell us that, you know, and we're about to go. And that really, so that was just an exercise to as a training to tell you that, you know, that sometimes you have to do that. You have to go for it. Like,
and the hardest piece for, I think, not just guys that are in this, even harder for somebody that's not in this, that isn't trained, is to be able to collide with love. Because it's real easy to go pick a fight just out of assholosity.
What's in your word?
That's a word on my planet. And to just go pick a fight, right? But it's an entirely different thing to go have a fight from here. And
it's
like
controlled.
And what you were talking about earlier is that also is going to have to happen in your marriage. It's going to have to happen with your friends, your kids, in your circles. And how do you have that kind of conversation from here?
Yeah. Because ultimately you want the best for you and you want the best for the other person.
Yeah.
But what happens is most men are not trained that way.
Nope.
And what happens, you know, this is an experience with my family, is myself. I say myself, like, you bottle it up. You don't say, you just keep it down. But when it does come out, it comes up explosively. And that's the dangerous thing, because that's when damage occurs. So if
and
you can
sadly,
say something,
that's the training that most people have.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it training. It's just training from. They grow up. They don't talk about shit. You know, dad doesn't. You know, especially dad. My dad wasn't very confrontational, and he would just blow up at stuff eventually when he got too much. So it's learning how to release the pressure by saying, "Hey, man, this is not cool. I'm not here. I don't hate you. I just want us to be good." So that's an incredible training that we received, and so we get to do this inside of Warrior with each other over the 2 years plus, and we're practicing every day, having conversations, learning how to deal with each other, learning what how not to explode and to say things in love. That's pretty amazing. So that's cool. So that's how we know each other. We're from different classes on the wall in the field, they call it, which is the Zoom call, which is a greater, like all the different classes together. And we do business training and all that. So that's, and we've had events together. So it's been a pleasure, meeting you in live. So over the last couple of years, so tell us more about what you do. Like you're a coach. What kind of coach are you? What are you doing over there?
Let's see. Started as a personal trainer in one of those gymnasiums and
Globo Gym,
exactly. Yeah. So that was like in 1990.
Before the influences hit the.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Totally. And I came to that after walking away from a path and a life headed towards advertising and graphic design.
So that's not a bad thing, though. Come on.
Well, I mean, it had to happen. Just say that, right?
You made it sound like it's a bad thing. I'm a graphic designer. I'm like, I kind of resent that. Like, it sounds like, hey, I walked away from this life of hell in the graphic design and advertising.
Well, I'll put it this way: it was a hell that I created.
Okay, it's your doing. It's not an industry, because
it was a hell that I created, and seeing it now, it was a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Right, but it was a hell that I created, and because of that, I was like, I'm walking away from this, washing my hands. I'm never going to do this again. Let me just go do something totally different. And so, got certified.
What was the story that you had? Can I ask?
That I let down everyone around me. I let down my family, my mentors, everyone that poured into me. I just felt like I let them down. And that, at the time, that was like a lot of guilt and shame that it just felt like too much to bear. And so I was just like, I'm never going to do this shit again.
Was it technical? Is it a technical thing, or wasn't getting the kind of work that you wanted to get, or you weren't?
So I had my heart set on getting into one place and one place only. And in the midnight, that place was a place called Wieden+Kennedy. At the time, they were largely responsible for all of Nike's advertising, and they were known for being like a creative powerhouse and kind of like a place to just kind of do what you wanted. And I was fortunate enough that my mentors that took me under their wing, they came from there, and they did really well for themselves there. And so that's also what sort of cemented, like, okay, that's where I want to go. And so after, getting out of college and knocking on their doors and not having that happen, and then knocking on their doors in Amsterdam and trying a bunch of different ways to try to get in.
Did you actually go there to try to get?
No, back then, pre-internet.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, I had to go to the post office and mail a physical portfolio.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So that's what I was up to.
You can just email it to them? Come on, man.
Yeah, man. That wasn't happening back then.
Oh,
so after...
I don't miss that.
Yeah. After many attempts and re-strategizing with my mentors and not, the door not opening, I just felt defeated.
I mean, you just got out of college, bro. You don't have any chops yet. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean,
what I forgot to mention as well is my ego was huge.
Oh, yeah. That helped. Yeah, that doesn't help either.
Yeah.
I mean, you got out of the college, everybody's portfolio looks the same. Like, I've been in the business for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So when people send me their portfolios, oh my gosh, I could, like, now my mind, like, I know exactly what level they're at. Exactly. Like, and I'm looking at the fonts, how they place it, how they put everything on, how they lay things out, how many fonts they use, where they, all that stuff. So, I mean.
You smell like new car.
You smell like, I mean, new portfolios they're painful. They're painful. So, I mean, can you appreciate that they're looking at you going, God, this guy just got out of college. He's just like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you didn't know that.
No. I thought I could walk on water, man.
So that kind of messed you up because that was the one thing you wanted to do, and that was only basically it's almost sounds like you set yourself up for failure because that's the only plan you had.
Yeah. Along the way, I was fortunate enough to get a yes from a studio here in LA that at the time, the thing that I valued was like, just turn me loose, right? And they seemed to want to do that. And I was like, okay, this is cool. But
it was doing menus. Come on.
What's that?
You were doing menus. Come on.
No, it was actually, Margot Chase.
I don't know who
they were in Silver Lake. But at the time, they were doing a lot of stuff for VV and Hard Rock in Vegas. They were doing a bunch of cool stuff. But I prided myself on...
Is that pride again?
Yeah, exactly. There's that pride biting me in the ass. I prided myself on doing a lot of stuff by hand and not going to computer.
That's going to be rough. Yeah. So you were like hand doing... Oh, my God, dude. And
I could do it. I preferred to go by hand because...
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's how I'm really grateful that I got into it. I mean, I started learning graphic design in 1990. Well, 91. But it was just, the computers were starting to get in. There was a Quadra 700. I had my own baby. Oh, baby.
Yep. That was the juiced up computer back then.
There was there's a Quadra 700, and there's also like maybe a Quadra 950, if I recall. But the 950 was like, okay, you got the 700 for my birthday, but the 950 is what the big boys had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With that like 10 megabyte. It was just ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, with the SideQuest that's this big.
Yeah, 44. Ooh, 44. There's the 44 SideQuest. There's the 88 SideQuest. Oh my gosh, I remember.
Yeah.
And then And I'm actually really glad that I didn't have to do all the film, all the like physical stuff, because the computers came just at the right time, and I started using them. So I was happy to use the computer. So that's cool. So you're working for them for a while, then
because my computer skills weren't up to snuff, they let me go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Those guys.
They went with somebody who could do the work.
Some young kid.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah.
Dude, I got let go I was working at a print shop in pre-press, so I learned a lot about printing, about how to become a better
letterpress
designer.
and all that.
Yeah, but they let me go because I was a terrible, like my organizational skills were crap. And so
lost the type.
I lost the type, man. There was jobs coming in. I wasn't organized, and I was taking too much time to do things because I was a graphic designer. And the guy's like, dude, you got to be fast and good. So he let me go, and that's when I started my business. So that was like the best thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I call Larry up every once in a while. I'm like, Larry, thank you for letting me go. I appreciate that. It changed my life. Really. I've actually called mentors back, like people I used to work with, and I thank them for certain things. Like just one of them was really good with type and logos. So, every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the ego.
The ego. And, at the time when you're going through it, it sucks. But in retrospect now, all of that was supposed to happen exactly how it did.
So you're glad they let you go? I mean, did it turn out better?
I would say so, in a way that I wasn't expecting.
How was that? How did that turn out? What was the one thing that was like,
The biggest gift was probably coming out of Warrior Week. And going through that process of a week, for me, it was a lot of self-acceptance and forgiveness. And, it was accepting that gift that God gave me as an artist and no longer hating it, no longer attaching those feelings of guilt and shame to it, but actually that's a gift. So there was that self-acceptance and, having gratitude for it. And if, there was a moment at Warrior Week when we were setting our targets, and I was thinking about what my targets are going to be. So as I'm thinking, I'm doodling, and we're going around sharing our targets, and Coach BQ looks over. He's like, "What's that?" He's looking at my doodles. I'm like, "This?" He's like, "You draw?" I'm like, "Kind of."
You're messing around.
He's like, "Why don't you make your being target around art? Because
oh my gosh,
you look pretty good at it." I was like, oh, right. So where that led to was, that exercise, Brother, the Power I See in You? When I went home, that was sort of still sitting with me. And I decided I was going to do a painting for each of the brothers in my circle, Brother, the Power I See in You. And so what it was, a journal. And so when you open it up, you see the entire painting. And so that's what each cover of the journal was, the power that I see in you. And each one got one. And then I also did one for the coaches. And that sort of started down that path of doing art again.
Now that you mention it, like I was looking at your artwork, and I can tell that you really like the handwork. It's like it's almost like I'm looking at a graphic designer who didn't want to do the computer, who liked to do, you know what I mean? There's something about this, like I see cut lines, and I see that sort of that technique of like cutting things up and putting them together. I don't know how you're doing it, but is that your process? Is that you're still actually doing the handwork and kind of collagey and things like that? Is that where you're doing it? Or?
In some paintings, it's that. Like the way I started to see this was that a lot of times when I started painting, it's like learning to speak a language, because sometimes I don't know how the fuck it's going to come together. And there's a lot of times like I don't even know what strokes are going to make the look that I want.
Yeah.
And then it starts to come together. And then you become fluent in those movements. Then you become fluent in putting those things together. And it goes from not knowing to, okay, I speak this language now. And the cool thing is, like, you carry that with you into each successive piece of work. And so, there might be a painting that I'm working on now, and it's like, oh, crap, there was that thing that I did before that might work here. And so it becomes part of your, I guess, visual language.
You have a library of ways that you do things.
Yeah.
And basically, it sounds like you're doodling or you're messing around, but in doing so, it sort of starts to evolve. You start to like, oh, this works, this makes sense. So you go here, you go there, and you sort of, it's like you're using your intuition to, you don't have it all planned out, right? Because that's not what you want to do. You sort of allow, there's a flow to it. It sounds like there's a flow, and you kind of go with it, and it's fun, and you have ideas, and oh, that's really cool. So
there's sort of a feel for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like what I want it to feel like, and then that's a whole other discussion itself. What I want it to feel like versus what actually comes through me and ends up on the.
So the difference between what you want it to be and what it wants it to be.
Yeah, or if we're going biblical, is what God's pouring into me and what He pours out of me.
And so you become like a vessel, or like the hands and feet of God, where you say, God, fill me, work, use me to create something that's, manifest your ideas on earth.
Yeah. Me. Yeah. And
that's cool.
There was a period, I know this now, because like anytime I try to make something cool, that ends up like me just sitting and staring, and then I'm like that meme where I draw it, I crumple it, throw it, I draw it, crumple. I'm that.
Yeah.
Versus just trusting and letting go and just let it happen.
Do you ever try to do doodles on purpose? They suck. They all suck. But when you're on the phone or you just blah, 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 and the next thing you look down, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like you just work that piece of paper until like this.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So
being able to be consciously unconscious, meaning that's the trick, is to be able to produce in this flow state. So that's what this show's about. This is about being in the zone. So like you're describing the zone that you get into, and it's like, it comes over time, and it's your zone. Time is lost. You wake up and you look up, and it's like hours have gone by, and that's the best.
Yeah.
That's your happy place.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you bring that up because, and I'm sure you experience this when you're creating stuff, but like I noticed it early on when I would paint stuff or draw stuff. Like you just get lost, right? And you look up and you're like, holy shit, it's been that long? Wow, right? And then I started to look for other areas in my life where that would happen. And sure as shit, it showed up when I was riding skateboards, right? And same thing. Like the more you try to land this trick, you end up with like bruised shins, kind of get lost and let it go. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, I landed it.
I saw when you post, you're reading the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Enough.
Yeah.
That's a good book. Because you're like, what's been working for me lately is divorcing. That's a terrible name, but removing myself from the outcome, like divorcing myself from the outcome. Like I don't care. I don't care what the outcome is. I just want to do this thing. Yep. This thing feels good. I'm just going to do that. Like I'm just going to enjoy. Like this podcast thing. I don't know where it's going to go, but it feels good.
Yeah,
it feels really good. Like I've listened to podcasts. I've listened to talk radio all my life. Like I talk to people like, dude, I am in line. I'm talking to everybody. Like, I don't care. I mean, anybody, any language, any country, I can talk to somebody. I can have a conversation. So this is normal. This is like breathing for me. So like, we have the technology and stuff got to set up, but this doesn't feel like, this is like, hey, I just called you. We're having a conversation. We just happen to be recording this thing and I'm going to post it one day. So that's, so I chase my happy place. Like I understand intuition, I understand the flow, I understand being in the zone with something, and that is what the most success I've had is when I've said, you know what, I'm not going to care what people think, because I glued 10,000 pens to a Mercedes a bunch of years ago.
Yes, you did.
And so that was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what is this? Like, it took me a while to figure out, like, what the hell have I done? Like I would be driving this thing and I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah.
And then years later, I was like, oh, I know what I did. This was part of my journey of learning how to listen to your intuition, to say, you know what, I'm not gonna run it by the pastor, because like, can you imagine like, hey pastor, I'm thinking about like putting pens to my car. He was like, I don't know about that. Yeah. Like I didn't ask anybody's permission. You just do it because it was the right thing to do.
That seed of creativity was meant for you. And
it was an idea. The way I see it is like God has ideas are like planes that want to land somewhere. Yeah. God's sending out planes. So he's like, I'm looking for a landing strip.
Yep.
I met this lady who was literally collecting pens, and she was going to do a pen car because I knew her in the business, and she didn't do it. So that idea needed to manifest here on Earth. So I was like, all right, I'm going to find somebody else. Oh, Costas, what do you think about this? I'm like, all right, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And a lot of times the people that don't get it, that it wasn't meant for them.
Or have you had, like, you've had an idea, and then years later, somebody's doing it? I hate that. Bro, that was my idea. But it wasn't.
Did you act on it?
No. I had this
Dummy.
idea. I wanted to
You dummy.
Listen, I had this idea to make bricks out of like pens. Like I would take all these pens that I collected, mush them up, heat them up, and pour and mold them into bricks so you could build buildings with them.
Yeah.
Right? You know what they're doing in Africa?
Is that what they're doing?
They're making bricks. These like almost like Legos. They look like Legos because they fit together. Like, and they mush up all these plastic bags, all this plastic. They mush it together, they grind it, and they melt it, and they squeeze it out into these molds, and they make bricks. They literally make. That was my idea, bro. But I didn't have a machine. I don't know. I was too busy.
You know why you didn't do it?
What? Why?
Because you didn't have to do it to build a living space.
Yes, I was living in California, living in a box, wooden box.
They had to do it out of necessity.
Yeah, no. If I was living in Africa and I had to build something, I would be doing that. So that's cool though.
Now, if you were a Warrior Week, build a shelter, you're like, okay, here we go.
That's right. So that's cool, man. That's very cool. So you're doing. So you're coaching. It sounds like you like. It sounds like you're enjoying the artwork more than the coaching. Or is that true? Or is
it's a different.
Okay.
It's a different thing. The artwork, it's like an outlet for energy.
Okay.
Right. And it just manifests. It's like on the canvas. The coaching, that's fulfilling in a different way because I get to also come from here and reach people here as well. And a lot of times the people that I get to serve, they have shut this part off, and you can see it. You can see it in the pain that they hold on to, and sometimes for a lot of people, that's part of why they continue to struggle with losing a certain amount of weight.
It's almost like the heart is like if you can unlock the heart, it's like the gateway. You can unlock the body, you can unlock the business, you can unlock the relationships. So it's like, right?
It's like Coach David, right? The feelings lead that you don't want to feel.
Yes.
Lead to the truths you need to know and the actions you need to take. And a lot of times, people that I get to serve, they have those feelings that they don't want to feel that are stuck here. And, many times I've been that person for them who probably for years I said, hey, it's okay. I'm not going to judge you. Let's just talk about this.
Do you work with men predominantly or mixed?
Now I do.
Okay.
I do. For the majority of my career, my clients are mostly 90% women and like 10% men.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's cool because you have a framework from Warrior.
Yeah.
You can ask better questions. You can hold space. And you can. So basically, your work is, it's a way to be able to use that. It's powerful. I mean, you were a coach before, but now you're supercharged because you have this whole framework from Warrior Week. Same here. I use all this stuff for my work and how I deal with clients or myself. And it's like supercharged me. Like how I ask questions of clients. I ask better questions. My emails are different. Everything's different. I collect.
And here's the crazy thing. Maybe you experienced this too, but like for years, I would turn to books and mentors and try to be the person in the books or try to be, the people mentoring me. And where I'm at now is it's like this, again, going back to that self-acceptance, right? The person that's showing up to serve people as a coach, it's just me. I'm not trying to be anybody anymore. And that has been
just Johnny.
Yeah. And that's been hugely liberating because I spent years trying to just be somebody else and actually hating who I was.
That's cool. I had the roughest time growing up. Junior high especially was rough.
Yeah.
Junior high was the worst 3 years of my life.
Braces?
Braces. I mean, I just didn't fit in. I just didn't fit in. I had come to this country when I was 13 and they held me back a year. So that's what I said. I was the worst 3 years of my life, right? So I was trying to, that's a terrible age. And you're trying to fit in, you're trying to, look cool and all this stuff. And it wasn't working. My ass kicked all the time and ended up, started getting into band because it kept me off the yard. So I was able to do something, and stay away from the bullies. But in high school, I remember the first day of high school where I was walking up to the band room and I made a vow that I wasn't going to try to fit in. I was going to do my own thing. If people liked me, great. If people didn't like me, great. And that changed. Like when I wasn't trying to fit in. And I had a great high school. So I was like, I'm doing whatever I want. I wore like hiking boots. I was like wearing like lumberjack boots. There was an article written about me because I was wearing like lumberjack boots, like flannel shirts.
You were grunge before grunge.
Dude, I was like metrosexual before that existed. Like I have the receipts. I have the receipts. Literally, if you look up metrosexual, it's some guy like lumberjack dude. Like that was me in high school. Like, but
I had hair down to here.
What, dude?
I had hair down to here.
I had hair down here. I had like the Weird Al Yankovic look.
I was this kid.
What kind of metal were you into? Come on, bro. Motley Crue.
I actually saw them.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I went to Day on the Green with Metallica, and that was horrendous, bro. At the Oakland Coliseum, dude. There was a fight, so people started tearing up the grass.
Yeah.
And started throwing it at each other, and I was up in the stands, like, thank God. And this circle got bigger and bigger as the grass disappeared.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And at the very end, there's three guys holding this big chunk of grass. Three guys, one piece of gun. They're just like, ugh, really so funny, dude.
Awesome.
I used to I told my son yesterday, I said, I used to take my locker door home. I did this several times. Check it out. I'd unscrew my locker door, the big ones. I took it home. I spray painted a Union Jack on it. I taped it off and Union Jack, and then brought it back to school, put it back on. That was my locker door. And I did a Def Leppard one.
Okay.
And then I did a heavy metal one. It was like I learned how to airbrush and things like that. So I did those things. I didn't get in trouble.
Did that become, hey, will you do my door?
Well, no, people were like, dude, what are you doing? It was weird. It was really weird. I was in band. I was a drummer and stuff, so I was into heavy metal. Motley Crue.
All right. So
Motley
you play
Crue.
drums?
I played drums, yeah. I started out playing trumpet, and then I got into the drums, and I actually ended up playing the last 30 years. I played drums.
At least you played a cool instrument.
And drums are cool. Come on.
Yeah. I was
is-
put in musical prison. I'm Asian, man. What do Asian kids do for a musical
You're a
instrument?
doctor. You're a doctor.
Piano.
Oh, piano. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I tried a little piano, but that was
For 18 years, man.
Oh my God, dude. Do you still play?
I can. I don't have a piano in my house, but whenever I get around one, I'll start to fiddle around.
Beware of the Facebook free piano. Never go to that. Never.
Scam.
You need a truck. You need 5 guys. You need a strong back.
And then you got to pay for the moving truck.
Yeah, and then you got to pay to have it removed from your house. So you have to put it free again. So
yeah.
So anyways.
Scam. Scam alert.
So anyways, so what were we talking about? Oh my gosh, what were we talking about? So yeah, the artwork, the coaching.
Yeah.
Anything else? So you told me earlier, I got to bring it up because it's funny. You're doing the accent. So what is this? Like, were you like locked in a room, you didn't have anything to do, so you're like, I gotta do Irish, Scottish accents. So tell me the story about that, because that is funny.
The Scottish accent, or just the accents in general?
Well, how did you discover that you're into doing accents? Like, well, how did that happen? I mean, let's get serious here. Forget the coaching, forget the
all right,
art.
yeah, forget all that. Yeah.
Oh, aye.
All right, so you've got to rewind. Rewind the clock several years. In the 70s, there was a show called The Gong Show.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, there was a guy on there. His name was Rich Little, and he would do voices. So there I am, 5 years old. Oh my God, that's the coolest thing. How does he do that? He turns into these people, and I was fascinated by that. And so, as a kid, I was just like, I want to learn how to do that. And sort of on my own, I would just like listen and try to like do these voices. I can't remember a specific voice that I tried to imitate as a kid, but if you fast forward, the Scotsman was born. His name's actually Patrick James.
Patrick!
And if you say his name, say it with pride.
Pride.
Say it with pleasure.
Pleasure.
So there was hours and hours and hours of a movie called So I Married an Axe Murderer, Mike Myers.
You bring that up now? Now you
What?
bring that up? Only that, sir, I hear you're a bitcher.
Exactly.
I love that movie.
Heed! Move!
Heed! Move it! Is his
If you think I'm sexy. The whole Rod Stewart thing that he was doing in the movie, yeah. So that was on constant rewind. And then Braveheart, constant rewind.
You had two movies. You're just tell it. You guys are poor. Come on.
No, it was actually in between, like, oh, well, we're not playing Street Fighter on Nintendo, so let's watch Braveheart.
Heed! Turn that microwave off!
Look at the size of that boy's melon.
Actually, my daughter Gigi, she's got like quite the hair, so she actually kind of looks like the kid. Heed! Turn the microwave off!
Nice.
She's like making dinner.
Nice.
What are you doing over there? She's making sausage. You're on the show live. You know that, right? You're being recorded. I'm
Yes.
putting this in the show.
Yep.
This is, I don't have a studio. I got the cat thing over there. I got
You know what you can call it?
What?
Side dish.
What, the show? Side dish?
No, what she's
No.
making.
What are you making?
Sausages.
Sausages.
That's side dish. All right, there we go.
I'm going with it. I don't, like I said. Yeah, so back to Hid.
So there was a lot of that, and then the other voice that I really wanted
Sean
to
Connery, you
pick
piece
up.
of
Yes,
work.
which a lot of that.
Sean Connery. We have a lot in common.
So there
Those
was
are
a
my
lot
two
of
favorite
Bond.
acts.
Yeah.
Bond, James Bond.
Yes. And just, I think it was train spotting.
Oh, dude, that's another weird.
They were shooting people in the ass with BB gun and like talking like Sean Connery. Well, let's target in on that arse right there. So that I was like, oh, let's do
Wow.
that. So
Are you?
yeah.
So speaking of weird, like you're starting to, you're a weirdo. I mean, like you're into some weird genres. Like, okay, do you have any genre movies that you
Movies?
Really into? I want to share some weird. Like, I'm gonna confess this weirdness I have with certain types of. So, do you have any genres that you like
Oh boy.
besides Scottish?
If you go to current, it's kind of boring. But yeah, so what the hell movies did I rattle off? Braveheart. So I married an axe murderer.
Yeah.
What was
Trainspotting.
Trainspot. Yeah.
Classics, man. You're good.
Yeah.
You're solid.
A lot of indie type stuff.
Any particular genre? Like or just a mixed bag?
Mixed bag. I think if the story grabs you, or the other thing is if it's peculiar, sort of like what the hell's that movie? Usual Suspects.
Okay. Oh, that was
Yeah,
another
this-
weird movie. Yeah.
See, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you like quirky weird stuff.
Yeah. Used to really be into Star Wars, and then
well, we have to
now
go
I'm
now.
not.
I'm a Star Trek fan.
Star Trek? Okay.
Star Trek.
Yeah,
a
a lot of Star Trek as a kid too.
Okay, we're good. So you have a base of Star Trek. Then, I mean, did you see Star Wars when it came out in 1977?
Absolutely, in the drive-in.
70 millimeter, baby. Yeah. Come on.
Right in the drive-in theater, man.
70 millimeter.
That was the best thing ever back then.
Before they
At that
ruined
time?
it with SGI and
Yeah.
and then they ruined
Yeah.
it with woke blah blah blah. Don't get me started. That's another show.
Yeah, well,
I'm
that's
gonna go there.
why I defend Star Wars.
So I got to tell you, I confess my weirdness. So my dad used to take me to weird movies when I was a kid. So he took me to like Woody Allen movies. So I
Okay.
grew up with like Woody Allen movies. So the genre that is fascinating to me is okay. So I like the cop shows that come out of the Scandinavian countries. Any kind of like Scandinavian countries.
Scandinavian countries.
Scandinavian like murder cop shows. Let's include Polish, German, Russian, like all those like harsh languages. I'm totally into. I love the
right.
desolate, snowy, desolate. I don't understand a word they're saying. They can be swearing up a storm, and nobody cares because nobody understands what's going on. So that's good. But I'm gonna I have opinions about that. Listen, ask me to watch a French murder mystery. No way. No way I'm going to offend some French people because it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound serious enough. Like, dude, you got murder, you got a body right there. The inspector comes up and starts talking in French. It makes no sense. It's not serious language. I'm sorry, French people. I'm sorry. And
It sounds too
Italians-
sexy.
Too sexy. Yeah, the French is for like romance.
Why you
and-
kill this person?
Give me the
Why
baguette.
why you shank him? I get
I
it.
mean,
I get it.
Spanish-
If it's yeah, man.
Spanish too. I don't do the Spanish. Like not even Mexican with Spanish. So that's a whole nother language. I don't see it. Italian, that too. But any Scandinavian countries, like I watched them all. Like you tell me one, I watched it. So anyways, that's my thing. So and also I like Australian movies. And so for me the connection is desolate scenery. Like if it's like snowy desolate or desert, like and there's something about those what else? Any Asian? Japanese do a good job. My wife,
Like,
Korean, dude. She's into the
oh
Korean.
boy, don't get started.
Oh my god, dude.
Wait, the dramas?
Oh, the drama.
Yeah, that's my wife too, man. Yeah, this is how I know. I'll go into the living room.
Look, we'll hook them up. They can talk about the movies.
Yeah, I'll go into the living room and she's crying, and I guarantee I look at the TV, she's watching a Korean soap.
They're so wholesome. They're so wholesome. Give me a Scandinavian murder, body, like blood, cuts, psycho, hanging, whatever.
Yeah.
Any day.
I tell
any
you
day.
what, though.
But
I'll get sucked into the Korean dramas just to see the food. Because Korean food, holy crap, man. Like, that's my love. Yeah. Speaking my love language now.
What's your favorite food besides
Korean,
pizza?
man.
Tell me.
Korean.
What?
Korean.
That
Yep.
kimchi. I like the spicy
All
stuff.
of it. All of it.
So Greeks don't have spicy food. Did
They
you know
don't?
that? No. So growing up in
spicy?
Greece, I had no spicy food growing up at all, ever.
No peppers?
Everything's baked. Not hot peppers. Peppers, green peppers, but nothing
Really?
hot. I kid you not. Like the spiciest thing in there is oregano. That's it.
Wow.
And pepper.
No
No
kidding.
spice. So I ended up living in the Middle East. My life is, all
What
over.
part?
Qatar. I lived in Qatar for
Okay.
8 months. My dad was an engineer. He was working on he's actually fixing arcade games
Okay.
at this place. So I go there. So I was living in England, English boy. What the hell is going on? Anyways,
Earthquake.
can you see my video?
You're blurred now, man.
Oh, dude, what happened, dude?
I see a blur with a ball and a plus sign.
Hold on a second.
The test is positive, Costas. We're having a baby.
Dude, oh my God, no way, dude. Hold on a second. Dude,
You told me you were late.
What? Select device. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm going to have to switch the cameras. Oh, God, that's terrible.
Oh, that's a nice filter right there. Oh, look at that. Oh, this looks like horror show. What is that? Like IR filter? What is?
My phone just died, dude. I had a malfunction.
All right.
Dude.
This is a good look. Whatever I'm looking at.
Dude. All right. Well, you know what? We're gonna go with it. This is the
Run with
show.
it.
We're gonna go to. There's nothing I can do about it.
You're broadcasting from the haunted house, and
Dude,
I'm here in Los Angeles.
Dude, I'm just gonna go with it. Like, if you're okay with this, I'm okay with this.
I'm good.
Just-
You know what do you know what your video looks like right now?
No, I know. I can see it. It's like, Green Lantern. I'm Green Lantern right now. I don't care, dude.
It looks good, man.
Dude, my phone just died. Forget about it. That was
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Now we're having
Oh,
fun.
okay,
Now we're gonna
all right.
spend the
So
next.
we were just talking about this. So
I'm gonna
Mickey
go with
Blue
it,
Eyes.
man. Mickey Blue Eyes. Yeah.
All right. So there's a scene in it's very proper English. Hugh. What the hell's his name?
Hugh Grant.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So him with his English accent, he's got to put on a wise guy accent. Have you ever seen this movie?
Which movie is this?
Mickey Blue Eyes.
I don't think I have.
James Caan is in it. Dude, that's the best scene ever because with his English accent, he's fumbling through a wise guy accent. And so you can imagine, like, he's trying to say, "Get out of here." He's trying to say that, right? But with his English accent, he's like, "Get out of here."
That's amazing. Like, here's what's amazing: English people can do American accents, like awesome, but Americans cannot do English accents. Trust me, it doesn't. I lived in England. I understand the English language. I understand English accent. When I hear Americans doing English, it's horrible.
Yeah, well,
like when I go back and look at Mary Poppins, I had a crush on Mary Poppins, by the way, dude. If I listen to it now, I'm like, that guy was the worst. What? Mary Poppins was hot, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, man. All right.
Back then, when you're a kid, she comes up. Forget about it.
I never watched it.
Okay, well,
Never
too late.
Yeah. But
Don't miss.
here's the thing that I people don't realize that there's in different parts of England the accent is different.
Of course, it's like here.
So when I was trying to learn an English accent, which I don't even try anymore. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So I was probably in the butcher club, but it's all good.
Good. So,
my Scottish accent was officially given the thumbs up by an Irish woman.
what does she know, bro? She's Irish. She don't know jack. Please.
She's like, "Oh, that's pretty good." I'm like, "Thanks."
Dude, a real Scottish accent, you can't understand what they're saying, dude.
Exactly.
They're just like, you know what's funny about? Okay, you see this video, this girl, and she's okay. So the what's that device that you talk into and it gives you answers and stuff? What is that called? The
iPhone.
No, it's like a thing, and it's attached to Amazon, and you can order stuff. It's it plays music, and you say, "Hey, play me
Alexa?
some music." Alexa, oh, no, is it Alexa? Okay, Alexa.
One of those.
So Alexa has the only
that.
language it has a hard time with is the Scottish accent. It doesn't understand the Scottish accent. It's terrible. So there's this girl in this video. You got to look it up. Jamie, look it up for me. I don't know.
I'm going to do that now.
So there's a girl, look it up, and she's got a Scottish accent. She's yelling at the thing, and she's trying to communicate with Alexa. The thing can't understand the words she's saying.
You know what? I wonder if it would get thrown off, too, with a Filipino accent. I'm going to have to try that.
Filipinos. Philippines. The Philippines.
Yeah.
What's up with all the Filipino caregivers? What's up with that? What's going on with that? It's like a national, like, the country decided, like, all the people are going to, like, take care of other people. They decided.
I'm gonna insult some people. They're the ones who couldn't be nurses.
Oh, we got a hot take right now. My lips are purple. God.
Hey, my wife's a nurse, man.
Oh yeah, is she Filipino?
Yep.
Philippines. I have a friend of mine whose wife is Filipino, so
Yeah.
she learned. You guys cook great over there, dude. You guys they would tell me they go over there to visit friends and they start eating at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, something crazy. It was like food all day long and just like plates and tables of food. That's real, right?
Yep.
You guys would get along with the Greek people because that food is a thing. Eat something. Like the only reason why like my mother would hug me is to check out to see if I was skinny.
Oh
like
my God.
It doesn't matter how fat you are.
Yeah.
You're too skinny. Dude, if you go to a Greek house, let me give you a hot tip. If you go to a Greek house and they offer you food, you eat. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if you're vegan or schmagan. I don't care what you are. You eat.
I'll eat, man.
Whatever they
I love
give
Greek
you.
Food.
Even if you're vegetarian, I'll bust out the lamb.
It's
Beyond lamb. Don't say that. Somebody's gonna figure that out and try to make Beyond Lamb, please.
Bleh.
So
they're already trying to get us to eat bugs.
Oh my God. Well, they already are having us eat bugs. Like you gotta look at we gotta get Alan on here because have you seen Alan? Have you seen his Instagram? He goes around. Alan, I love you, brother. You're awesome. I love your channel. He goes around and he's so deadpan because he's deadpan, but he reads the labels. But it's hilarious. That's like. It's so deadpan. He's not even trying to be funny, but it's funny, and he's just reading labels.
Yeah,
and there's some humor in it. He does his thing, but we have to have him on. We have to have him on. So
the bug episode.
The bug. Have we covered it? Is there anything else you want to go over? I feel like we're running out of steam here.
You brought up the food.
Yes.
Yep.
You want to talk about food?
Yeah, you were talking about Greek food. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that I think Filipinos make so much food is because they don't want to be embarrassed that they ran out of food at a party.
Yeah. It's a very Greek thing too. It's a sign of like abundance and if they feed you, what happens if they offer you food and you say no? Like what if you're like, "Oh, I'm full." Like is there
it's sort of insulting, but like I do it anyway.
Greek people are like that. Yeah, if I offer you food and you don't take it, it's pretty insulting. So they have this tradition, I don't know, around Easter, I don't know what it is. On that island, so basically you go to visit people's homes, and you visit, and you eat food. And so you basically go from one house to another, and you're just eating food. And so they prepare the food, and they know that people are going to come over, and it's a really cool tradition.
Wow.
So
all the time?
Once a year. I don't know when is it around Easter maybe or something like that. I'm not sure. So I remember one year my mom is from one of the islands in Greece called Ikaria. If you know the story of Icarus, he flew too close to the sun. He landed, and they named an island after him. So that's how the Greeks do it. So my mom's from this island called Ikaria. She grew up on a mountain. So I was there around Easter time, and we're going to this home. And it was so windy. Look, it was so windy. Like, we're like this. Like, my mom's holding on to me. Like, I would have been blown away. Like, it was crazy. Just to get to this one house so we could eat.
Costas the kite, fly away.
Oh, by the way, kites. We have a national kite day, flying the kite day. So we do have
in Greece?
Yes, that's once a year. I don't know when the date is, but we all fly kites. And we make them, like, we all hand make them. They're hexagon shaped. You get balsa wood. You make like a 3 pieces. You put them like a hexagon, and then
any
you put
significance to the hexagon shape?
No, that's just the easiest shape to do because you got 3 pieces of wood. You put a little rope in the middle, and then you put like this rope around, a little string around it, and then you use that sort of like this paper that they use in cooking.
Rice paper? No.
Rice, kind of not rice paper. It's got wax paper.
Parchment. Is it parchment? Kind of wax paper?
Well, it's like wax paper.
Wax on.
Yeah, so we'd make these kites and then we fly them and then we try to go as high as you can. It's kind of cool. It's like everybody's flying, like it's a day off. It's a national holiday and everybody's flying kites.
Nice. So that's very nice. So hey, is it like Spain? Like you guys eat dinner super late like Spain or no?
Yes. All those Mediterranean countries, they take naps.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all about the nap because it's too hot in the afternoon. So so basically you get up with your work, if you call it work, and then you take a lunch break and you take a big old nap in the afternoon, and you actually go back to work around 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock, and you work until like 11 or something like that, and then you get off and then you party until it's really weird.
Yeah, that's because that would be hard to get used to.
My mom used to make me take naps, and I hated it, bro. I was like pretending to sleep,
But I want to do stuff. I want to do stuff.
But I want to do stuff. I'm a kid. I want my way. I got all this energy. And
I don't want to go sleep.
I don't want to. I hated sleeping. I woke up from a nap, and all my crayons had melted. Like, I remember that one time.
You know what? Did you just keep it like that?
It was in the box. It was in this, like, plastic thing. And all the crayons were in a little,
Yeah.
That's like 6 of them. Big, fat.
Multicolored chunk. Just use that thing.
No. It was it was horrible. Horrible, man. Wake up from a nap, you come to melt, and your favorite crayons melted, We had to take naps in kindergarten, too. So, this is interesting. So, one time in kindergarten, they had us all lined up. And we had this big long sheet over all of us, so it was nap time. We were literally napped.
Wait, they put a sheet over you guys?
Yes, a big long one too. It was like 10, 15 foot long to cover all the kids at the same time.
Like a communal sheet.
Yes, we had a communal sheet. I remember.
Weird.
That. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So I was at the end of it, and for something I got. I wasn't feeling like the sleep, so I wrestled that sheet from all the kids. I pulled it, and I got it all to myself. Like, that was,
I remember
doing that.
The whole thing?
I wrestled like 14, 15 kids. They're all trying to hold on to the thing. And I was like, no, I'm going to take this.
I'm not sleeping. I'm wrestling.
I'm wrestling.
We're going to wrestle.
Speaking of corporal punishment, oh my God, dude.
In kindergarten?
I had to stand against the wall holding a napkin with my nose against the wall. So, like this. I had to hold the thing because I was making pig noises while we were trying to sleep, So they had us in this room, and I was like going by the door, going and doing pig noises, and the teacher found out, and so she made me stand holding the paper up against the wall. So that was weird.
That's all? That. Like, you didn't get hit or anything?
No, that was just that.
Oh.
That's traumatic, bro. If I still remember that, that's like trauma right there.
In kindergarten, I remember walking past the principal's office and doing one of these things. As I was walking by, I saw this kid, giant ass paddle. Don't want to be in that office.
Is there this is so weird. When you look at my screen, can you see, is there a copy on this side?
There's nothing, man. It's just you in green and purple.
Okay, I was just checking. So I'm seeing it. Like, this is my second podcast. I've totally screwed this up. I don't care. We're having a good conversation. So
you look like Homie from Avengers.
I don't know that show. So I used to watch all these American. I don't know that guy. We don't know each other.
You're not into comics? Were you ever into comic books?
No.
All right, we got to end this right now.
All right. Yeah. Well, I used to watch like Dukes of Hazzard and all those shows in Greece.
Yeah. Oh boy. Wait. Oh boy.
Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, Dynasty, Dallas, Little House on the Prairie. I used to watch that, but it was in Greek dub.
Nice.
So when I first heard it in American, in English, it freaked me out, dude. I was like, what the hell is this show? What is going on? This isn't right. It doesn't sound right.
That's not the voice.
That's not that voice of that girl, the daughter of the storekeeper, who was totally obnoxious.
Oh, Nelly?
Like, her voice did not sound as obnoxious.
Was that Nelly?
Nelly, that's right. Nelly was so obnoxious.
Wait, did you think she was obnoxious in the Greek dubbed voice or in the American voice?
Yes, in the Greek. So when I heard her in English, she didn't sound she didn't sound bitchy, like I imagined her, like I remember her. She sounded totally normal.
Pig snorty.
I guess the Greek, they turned it up. It was like, so anyways. A-Team, I used to watch A-Team and Aquaman.
Yeah.
All those shows.
Knight Rider.
Yeah. Dude. All these people watching this are like, what the hell?
I can't believe you watched Dynasty, man.
Dynasty, of course.
My mom watched that. I was like, oh, it's Dynasty? Good night.
We had 2 channels in Greece. 2 channels. It would go on at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. We would watch cartoons, and then it would go until midnight.
Okay.
And that was it.
You watch
2
Super
channels.
Friends?
I don't know what that is.
Superman, Batman, Hall of Justice.
We didn't have that.
Oh.
No, we had Warner Brothers stuff. Bugs Bunny.
Oh, Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Scooby-Doo?
There's certain shows I didn't have when I was a kid, so people like do the reference or like, I don't know, bro, that's before my time.
Yo no sé.
Shows. So anyways, I think we should wrap it up. I think I'm running out of steam. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm good.
All right, man. All right. My jaws hurt.
My ass hurts.
I'm talking.
How do people find you? How do you connect with people? Like, what's your main source of? Tell us your social.
I don't. I'm a shut-in, man.
I saw you have social. I see you.
On Instagram, it's what the hell is it? At Johnny Bocobo.
I'll find you.
Yeah. Okay. At Johnny Bocobo.
I found another one of you, but it was like way back, and you had a different haircut. You're younger, and some gym.
On Facebook.
On Instagram, I found an Instagram page with you,
Really?
younger when you were working for some gym. You're working for Globo Gym, and your face is on there. You better look it up, bro, before people start finding you.
Yeah, man.
You better shut that thing down.
Shut it down. Shut it down. I mean, I did have my own gym.
Okay, maybe that was it.
Yeah, that was for about 10 years.
So you're working with CEOs, or at least executive level.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep, doing that. And then the big bulk of where the coaching took an unexpected twist was being brought in to do fitness, like a fitness program for a company and their employees, but then pivoting it to leading them in leadership training with fitness as the gateway. And that was totally unexpected, but it's been hugely rewarding, to be able to awaken, much like how we've been awakened through what we go through in Warrior. For a lot of these people that I get to work with, it's been cool.
How many people under your tutelage or your care or your coaching?
Right now, 50.
Wow. Is it something you do every week? You have to go there, or is it?
Oh no, man! It's totally remote because they're in Wisconsin.
Zoom. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although I have been out there. I have been out there twice. And
how did you get that gig? That's pretty cool. Like that's
through Dave in my circle.
Okay.
His company.
He's like, dude, we're a bunch of fat people. You need help.
Yeah, man. So like how did this?
Put down the bratwurst.
And what is that? That cheese? What is that? It's the fries with the gravy. What the hell is that?
Oh, you mean the nacho cheese? No,
damn it. Poutine. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not their jam there. But I think, I started talking to Dave about. I asked him for feedback on my pitch, and then he started giving me feedback, and then we just started talking about putting fitness program together for his management team, and we started doing that, and then it led to, hey, would you be able to do that for my company? I was like, yeah. How many people are we talking?
So you just supersized yourself.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Have you ever done that, like that level, like amount of people that? Have you done that before?
In person at my gym, yeah. But like to do it virtually was a big challenge. Technologically, it wasn't so bad because Zoom, right? And I modeled a lot of, the processes from how we do Warrior. But after that, a lot of the program itself, there's really nothing out there like it. So he and I are kind of writing the book for it as we go.
Wow. You're building the plane as you're flying it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But it's been cool, man.
Do you have any plans of like expanding that or doing more of that, or
Yeah. So I mean, his company is the first company that we're doing this, and obviously refining the process and the program. It's a 2-year program that we're building out.
Wow.
And so being able to then package that leadership program and offer it to other companies that are looking for something like that.
Are you getting your curriculum together?
We're curriculumizing.
Your curriculum. That's awesome. That's cool, man. Is the idea? Could you offer that on like online where they get like a program? They start to do like a funnel and all those things that people are doing. Is that something that you could possibly end up doing?
That's one way that it could go is put together a funnel for companies that are looking for leadership training, and as a byproduct your employees also get in shape. The big piece of that though, getting them in shape, I don't know about the statistics in other states, but like for Dave in Wisconsin, when one employee calls out sick, it costs him about $3,500 a week. So to get them in shape and healthier and have less occurrence of that, it increases his company's productivity.
So it's cheaper to pay you to help them than it is to lose money when they're not there.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a great selling point. Listen, I'm going to charge you this much, but if you don't, it's going to cost you this much. I mean,
it's huge
per person.
Yeah.
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 It better be in your marketing material because that's important. I mean, that's huge.
It's huge. Yeah, and so it started as fitness, right? But then it turned into something so much more.
That's
and
cool.
it's been downright rewarding, gratifying, fulfilling, like my belly's full.
Right then. Right, you piece of work. Move it. I wish we had a Scottish coach. That would be so much fun. Can you
I don't know. I could keep a straight face.
I mean, you'd be somebody yelling at you from the hill.
Dude.
When I first met Coach Sam on my first week, that week when we come and we're we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
He had this thing shawl over his head, and it was like he was this like Middle Eastern like mystic, like riding this ATV. It was like very like dark and mysterious. It was very.
Wait, when was this?
2 years ago when I went to my Warrior Week.
Oh, at Warrior Week.
Yes, that was the first time I ever laid eyes on the coach.
Ever?
And he was having knee problems back then or something. But he was riding the ATV a lot. He was chasing us around an ATV.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's something like very ancient about him. Like he reminds me of somebody from the old country. Like I have this healthy respect for elders, in authority figures, let's say. Yeah. And so he reminds me of somebody like I grew up with. Like, you don't mess with the old guy in the village. You know what I mean? And so like you stay clear, you respect, so that's how I feel when I'm around him. And
he'll put his boot on your neck.
I will do my best not to cross, Coach Sam. Like, stay out of the way. Don't fuck it up. That's why, dude, in the 2 years I've been in Warrior, I haven't missed any Zoom calls. And I show up like early, 5 minutes early, because I don't want to screw it up.
Yeah, good.
I missed one. Okay, I missed one. It was Christmas time where I was at the mall. I'm like, oh my God, there's a Zoom call. But, that was unusual. But other than that, man.
You were at the mall, bro?
My kids, they wanted to go shopping during, like, a couple of days before Christmas. It was literally the 24th. It was a Monday. Oh, boy. And I missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what was that like?
What?
When you missed?
Oh, it felt horrible. I called him. I boxed him. Like, you're fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how people miss, man. I don't know how, like, to me, missing is like, dude, don't mess with the guy. Don't mess with the coach,
It's an interesting thing because you see it happen, right? People miss.
Yeah, people miss.
And I think it's like Coach says. Like, you start to see it as a nice to have, but you also kind of like, you start to give weight and importance to the chaos in your life.
You allow that to enter.
Yeah. And, those 2 hours, that's not the chaos. But you give it, you give the chaos the weight and importance and the attention. And sadly, it's like on a boat, man. It pulls people out into the deep end, 14 minutes.
For me, what got me through is like, I can't afford not to go. Like, that's missing me. I mean, I don't have the last 2 years. The one thing you don't want to say to yourself is like, I got this. As soon as you say I got this, you're done. Got this, and then you quit. Like that. Every time I saw somebody quit, we had 12 guys, and now we're down to 2. So every time that happened, it was like, oh, I got this. I'm good, man. I'm good. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, nah, bro, you don't got this.
Yeah, I've arrived.
So I've never. So I still haven't arrived. Like I still don't have my stuff together. So I work hard because like I'm on the edge of not making it. Like that's how I think. Like I could not make it. 14 minutes.
That's beautiful right there, man.
That's a lot of time. I got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm 5 minutes away from not making it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real easy.
Yeah. Like last quarter, I didn't make my body goals. Like I stopped going to the gym last quarter.
What was your body goal?
My body goals was just to go to the gym 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
3 times a week.
Okay. Hey, I saw you deadlifting.
That was the quarter before last.
Are you still doing that?
That's fine. No, like I said, I haven't been to the gym really in the whole quarter.
What did you work up to?
What do you mean? The deadlift?
Yeah.
Well, it was like 415 for one. That was the most I did.
Nice.
Yeah. Not bad for a 52. Not bad.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah.
So I started doing starting strength a bunch of years ago. So basically it's it's basically adding 5 pounds to your weight. So you're doing the basic stuff, squats, deadlifts, bench, overhead, and that's it. That's really it. The simple things, and just adding 5 pounds. So I went from like squatting a bar, to the most I've ever done was like squatting.
Squat? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was really. So it's been really good. So I'm working my way back into. So when I don't go for a while, what I do is I start going on the treadmill to get my body kind of because if I just jump in, I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna break something.
Yeah.
And what I see, it's not funny, but as you get older, you need a little bit more like leeway to get back into it, because if you jump back into it, you're not 20, you're not gonna do well. You gotta pull something. So aware of that. I'm on the cautious side of, get back into things and, not killing it. I'm not trying to kill it. I don't want to go 5 days a week. I listen to my body, like I really do. Like I can feel it, like, because recovery is different when you're older.
Yeah, that's no joke.
That's an understatement.
That's no joke, man.
Like, I mean, you're a kid, you can freaking build muscle like nobody's business, and then your T goes down, things like that. So the recovery is a tougher deal.
So it's crazy though, because like the strongest, and when I say strongest, like the heaviest I've lifted, that was like in my late 40s.
That's cool. You're stronger now than when you were younger, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I started like lifting probably like in middle school, right? And the crazy thing is I never stopped. But yeah, it wasn't probably till maybe, yeah, like past 45, late 40s. That's so when I deadlifted 4, and I was weighing 160.
So picture of that. It's cool. Wait, what'd you do? What, 165, what?
I was weighing
bench? Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing. I started going to the gym at 48.
Okay.
That's when I first, I'm going to the gym.
So like last year?
No, man, that was like 3-4 years ago, man. Oh, it was right before COVID hit. So here's what happened. Right before I was going to the gym, I was going to Crunch Fitness. Okay. And then it shut down. And lucky me, I had a whole welding shop, bro. So listen. I didn't stop working out. I made my own gym. I made a squat rack out of scrap metal. All the weights were, because you couldn't get weights anymore. Because
no, you couldn't. They were marked up 400.
But you could go to the tire shop and get the brake drums. So you got enough. You got 300 pounds of that you got yourself some weights.
You do. Ooh.
Oh my God! So squat rack. I made a bench. A bench so I could do the bench.
Yeah.
And I had these milk cartons. 2 milk cartons filled with golf club heads I chopped off, so I had about 50 pounds on each. So I would put this big old bar that was this thick. It was like a stainless steel bar through the thing, and I was like,
"You did, wow!" Because I filled our backpacks up with books.
You go to the tire shop and you fill it up with those brake drums.
Oh man!
They got 10 pounders, they got 15 pounders, they got 25 pounders, bro.
Yeah, all right.
So funny.
Good to know. Good to know, MacGyver.
So yeah, I didn't stop. I was working so it was my workshop. So I would go there and do my welding and stuff. Yeah. I had my overalls, and I'd work out my overalls.
Nice.
I didn't, it was cold, rusty. Everything was rusty. Everything, because it was kind of outdoorsy in the carport, so everything had rust on it. It was just.
Wait, what state are you in?
Well, I was in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was in
California.
California. So I was living at Sonoma County.
Oh, okay.
An hour north of San Francisco.
It gets chilly there.
Yeah, we got the fog coming in. I missed the fog. I really missed the fog. But then we moved to Florida 3 years ago. We escaped California. And
wine story. Because you were talking Northern California.
Yes, watching the bicyclists go from winery to winery. I don't drink anymore,
but
okay.
So a friend of mine, he booked a winery tour for us, and at the time, we were into wine and all that stuff, but I didn't quite understand. I was like, "Oh, wine tour? Okay, cool. We're just gonna twirl the glass and spit." So we go do the Napa thing, and then we end up at a winery called Frog's Leap, which was really cool because it was kind of quirky, kind of independent. Kind of winery. My wife and I had a really great time there. So then 2 days later, you got the filter back. We ended up at a coffee shop and coffee roaster in Vallejo. And, we're talking to the owner. And he's super cool. He comes out, he starts making us coffee and start talking to us about the beans and the blends and all that stuff. And so, we were telling him, hey, we were in Napa checking out wineries. Any place you should go? Or we should go. He's like, yeah, you should go to Frog's Leap. I'm like, well, we were just there. He was like, yeah, my wife is it's Frog's Leap.
Okay.
It's in Napa. He was like, my wife is the winemaker there. We're like, really? We were just there. But it was the coolest unexpected experience at this guy's coffee place because he spent an hour with us just talking about the beans and making different drinks, and it was really cool.
So you like coffee? You're a connoisseur.
I'm a coffee dork.
How do you drink your coffee? Come on, let's go there.
Right now, shit.
Pour over.
No, it's not pour over.
French
I don't have the patience for that, man. I used to French press. I used to pour over. Now it's just a drip machine.
So plebeian.
I know, man.
Get off my show.
Yeah.
Get off my show.
Colombian beans and a little grass milk creamer and some stevia.
Okay. But you ever had Cuban coffee? Let me tell you, Cuban.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's so bad. You lit. Two cups of two spoons of sugar. I mean, it's mostly sugar and a little bit of coffee.
Yeah, but it's really good.
And then if you put sweet condensed milk. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Listen, when I was a kid, we used to go to the supermarket, and there was a little basket on the aisle, and it was just this little cans of condensed milk.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my treat. I'd get that, crack the put the holes in. Did you do that too?
Yes.
Straight out of the can? Dude, you're the only one I know who's done that. Like,
Dude,
I've never met anybody.
True confession. I was a fat kid.
Do it. Did you get picked on for being a fatty?
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. So
There's
the worst thing is my aunt would always pinch my cheeks.
Oh God.
Yeah, and
dude,
like
Filipinos and Greeks are very similar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like you're describing Greek people. Did the old guys have the canes and they used to like hook your neck with their cane when you were a kid? Like, come here, kid. Oh, like, okay.
Yeah, but they did have the cane. I don't know, maybe like the lip part in your mouth.
Going on over there.
I don't know.
What's the story behind that?
People are like, they eat the ashes. I'm like, what? I tried it for shits and giggles. I'm like, I'm going to burn my mouth. This is stupid.
So they're smoking the cigarette with the
lit end in your mouth.
So they're sucking through the... How on earth?
I don't know.
Listen, talk about corporal punishment. I'm going to bring it back to that. 3rd grade, I did something wrong. I know it's random, but it's got to do with smoking. My teacher punished me. She made me stay in the room lunchtime, and she used my hand as an ashtray while she smoked. Nothing burned. So it's no real abuse, but that was like weird, man. She just like all lunch she was smoking her cigarette.
Yeah.
She made me. That's the weird the 70s in Greece. They did weird stuff back then. That's why we're so tough, man. That's why Generation X is so like, dude, we got this. We got this.
Yeah, right.
Feel foot. So
you're even tougher, man. You had to watch like Dukes of Hazzard with Greek dub.
Oh no, it was in English. Just a Little House on the Prairie. You know, I don't want to make myself into a martyr here, but you know, that was just that one show.
All right.
So because I had an English father, I did understand English growing up. So my mom's Greek, my dad's English. So that's how it worked. He was an engineer. Sorry. Dude, I don't know who's going to watch this show. Can you imagine? We're going on for an hour and a half. We're just shooting the, you know what?
I don't know. Anybody going to buy this car?
We're so much alike, dude. That's so funny. There's so much things in common, which is really cool. Like, we're from different parts of the world, but somehow we ended up on this like Warrior Week, and then we ended up on this call, and we're like talking about stuff and accents and all kinds of stuff. So it's been really fun to kind of get to know you, because we don't, we can't do this on the call. It's like business, 2 hours, boom. Where's your deliver? We'll get out. Bye.
I don't know what your recruitment into Warrior Week was like, but mine felt like Jason Bourne. So it was like, can we talk about this? So
for me, it was like the guy that said, "Hey, I think it's time for you to go to Warrior Week." It was Michael Bryant. He's like, "It's time for you to go to Warrior Week."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You're right. I'm going." And that's it.
Okay.
I called the coach. The coach called me.
Yeah.
Got my credit card out. Boom.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, by that time they were already rolling. Like when I got the call, Sam and Garrett were still doing Warrior Week, and then there was a split, and then Sam started doing Warrior Week, and then I got the call. I'm like, I thought this was done.
So there's some confusion there.
Yeah, it was a little confusing, and then, we're starting it up. And I was like, okay, can I talk about this to anyone? So yeah, it felt like we're just going over here. Yeah. And so, yeah, Jason Bourne.
I'm glad I'm glad you went. Glad I met you. So.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you want to talk about? Any questions? I'm going to wrap it up.
Wrap it up in a flour tortilla.
I'm going to wrap it. I'm hungry.
Wrap it up in a flour tortilla.
Any final thoughts? Any takeaways? How's this been good? Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Has this been an interesting call for you? How do you like it?
It has been, because here's the thing, man. Like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know what to expect, right? But it's been getting reps and just being in the moment, right? And, we can all use that in a lot of parts of our lives. Because too much time is spent on this stupid thing.
I think this is like what people did. Like, I remember growing up, people just talked. They didn't have devices and stuff. They didn't even have TVs around. But they just talked. I just remember my relatives talking, telling stories, the same damn stories every time. But it was funny. Like, literally, like after dinner, aunts and uncles talking, and they're pushing the crumbs on the table, because you're just there for hours, and you're just doodling with the stuff that's on the table. You know what I mean? So this is like talking. Nobody talks anymore. So this is cool, because this is, and I'm hoping to invite people into these conversations. This, like, the more I think about this, so many people I know that like today, my martial arts instructor from back, years ago, he calls me up. It's like, we've got the people back together. We're doing some training, and we're doing the 3-star exercise. You know what that is?
What martial art?
Basically, what you're doing, you're bashing your arms 1, 2, 3. So basically, you toughen up your forearms.
Yeah.
We call it the 3-star exercise. So you're slamming, boom, 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 and then boom, boom, boom. Like, so when I was doing it, like, I had a rep because my arms are pretty, like, bony, and it would just cut everybody's arms up. So they're doing it, and they're like, oh, yeah, Costas. Like, he's like...
You got all the calcium built up in your bones.
Like, nobody liked doing that with me because I would I'd just go, get in there, and it would just, my bone would just cut into their bone.
Wait, were you sparring?
They hated me.
Is that what you're doing?
No, we're just doing an exercise. We're just standing there.
Oh.
We're just standing there. We're doing this. We're going like this. We go 1, 2, 3. And we would bash our forearms together just for training.
That's how you...
Oh, I can't even hear you. Hold on. Yeah?
That's how you toughen up the bones for the contact.
Yeah, it's just, they call it the 3-star exercise. But anyways, he calls me up. But the fact that he calls me up, now I want to have a conversation with him.
Do it. You should.
What's going on here? Well, I am. I told him.
Yeah, man.
So there's all these people in my life. Like, this actually, the other guy called me on LinkedIn. I hate that place.
Yeah,
he was a guy I knew at church, and he gave the
vacated.
best hugs. He gave the best hug. Like, when you hugged him, he felt so loved. And he, out of nowhere, he's like, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. And I'm like, dude, I got to have you, like, have a conversation with him, see how he's doing. I haven't talked to him in like 20 years. So.
At Call to Arms.
Yes, sir.
You heard R.C. Sproul's Jr. speak.
What was the story about it? I can't remember.
R.C. Sproul Jr. He was giving us a sermon. Bald guy.
Oh, yeah, yes, of course. Yes.
The thing that stuck out for me about the way that he preaches is it was very soothing. I was just like...
What was neat about him is that he shared his story, and it was like, oh, you're a real person. Like, he's been through some stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate. I appreciate people who are like, I've gone to churches and men's group, and like, praise the Lord, brother. And, everybody's, happy, but everybody's hurting. Nobody's talking about the real stuff. And that's everybody's fine.
The thing that, like, I should stack this. The thing that annoys me and just irritates me is, okay, yeah, he fucked up, right? But there's people that aren't willing to forgive him. And it's like, you're not willing to forgive him, but I bet damn well that you're up to crazier shenanigans.
Yeah, well, because we have get out of here, damn cats. The thing is, what we do is we categorize, or we have different grades of sin. Like, oh, that stuff's really bad. That stuff's not so bad. You could do that. You know what I mean? But there's no grade. It's all the same. But we kind of categorize it into different. This is good. If you do this, you're okay. You can still go to. So, I think the thing that bugs me is nobody talks about these things. As soon as I got into Warrior, I realized that everybody's hurting. Every man hurts and has secrets and has lies, and nobody wants to talk about those things. They are shameful.
Yeah.
But what this has done for me is allowed me to be able to look into another man's eyes and know, like, I think you got something more to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you're hurting. I know you were abused or whatever it is that happened to you. Like, I can tell. Like, but when they don't say something, it tells a lot.
Yeah, and it's because of this place, right? Because you start to recognize the smell of that pain because we've been around it.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody's hiding something, when they're saying something without saying something. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
oh yeah,
when they talk and they're avoiding the thing.
Yep.
You could totally tell. Yep. Like, they're dancing around.
Yep.
And it's weird because it throws people off when you say, so what's really going on? Like, you ask them directly. Yeah. And it's like, how did you know? Like, bro, we have like superpower almost. Like, we can, But what's neat is that we can have like, I have brothers-in-laws, I have relatives who are hurting. Yeah. Who got into some things, and I was able to, like, everybody was like, I have a brother-in-law who got in some weird things, and everybody was mad at him. Yeah. But I wasn't, because I knew what was going on, so I called him. Like, when everybody was like, oh, freaking out. Yeah. I called him up because I could, because I had the reps to be able to listen to him without judging him. And actually, 3 of my brother-in-laws were, I called them up when this thing happened. I called all 3 of them, and all 3 of them had like, dude, I'm so glad you called me, bro. Like, we can't even talk about this stuff. Like, nobody would talk to them about it. Wow. It's weird. You know what I mean? Nobody can. Yeah. So
but you have the reps and the training in it.
Yeah. We can just talk about truth without being weird about it, without judging, without... Yep. It's really freeing. You could go... Like, you can walk into any room and you have this ability to go there. Yeah. Dude, my group, on the lead up, they're asking us certain questions, and I was like, because that's what I do. The filter goes off, and I say things that, and I shock people. Dude, there's people in my group are like, dude, they were so mad at me because I said some shocking things, and I snapped back, and the coach was like, well, we don't really let the new guys talk back, but Costas isn't wrong. So it got people talking, like, because I went there, like, I don't care. I'm the door kicker. Like, I'll freaking go first. I'll say the thing everybody's thinking.
Wow.
So I have this. I grew up like that. My mom listen. We used to have a Bible study, a college Bible study at my house. My mom's so blunt, so Greek. She's like, I don't like you. I don't trust you. Get out. Like literally, that's exactly what she said.
Wow.
I don't trust you people.
Wow.
You're in the cold. You're in the cold. Get out.
You don't smell right. Go.
Get out. I mean, they weren't cold. They were just. But my mom, like, she's always had this thing with friends. I bring friends home. I don't like your friend. She's just. So, anyways, I grew up in this environment where my mom was very like, just said it. My dad was the opposite. He wouldn't say anything. Yeah. He would blow up, and So I got that superpower from Mom. Thank you, Mom.
Good.
I don't care.
Thank you, Mom.
I don't care. It was awkward at first, but like, it's actually kind of cool. Greek people are very blunt, bro. Greek people just, like, if they don't like you, they will tell you right away. They're like, bro, I don't like you. Get out. You're not doing it for me. They don't mess around.
What'd I do?
They have no problem with collision. No problem.
Yeah. Then be like, wait.
Bro. Well, that doesn't work because, they don't take showers over there, so that's a whole nother story. When I came to this country, it was junior high. I didn't know about showers.
Oh.
Like, English people don't take showers. Greek people don't take showers. So I was wearing the same shirt. I had this muscle shirt, like from the 80s, where it's open on the sides. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like I wore that, and I wore it every day. And I sat next to this kid every day. He would say, "You stink, you stink." Every day and I didn't understand what he was saying. I didn't understand what he was saying to me. Like, I hear the words. I don't know what you mean, bro. And then something happened. I don't know. And I was like, oh, I stink. He means that literally. I'm like, oh, bro, I'm so sorry. So I started taking showers every day and putting deodorant on.
So that shower, was that similar to the shower after day one of Warrior Week?
Dude, listen, poor people at the hotel, you better leave a tip, because every time the Warrior people come through, it's like a disaster. They blow up. There's sand in it. There's like a whole, there's a sandbox. There's a sandbox inside the tub after the first day. Yeah. And your shoes are wet. That's why they say get 2 pairs of shoes. I had the hair dryer in there. I'm trying to get them all, So tired, dude. So tired. Yeah. What was during the week, what was the one event that really, messed you up? That you, dang, that one.
The Inquisition.
We didn't do that.
The Inquisition.
The collision was the one that messed me up.
What was that
Because it was when they split us up into 2 teams, and they said, now you gotta punch that guy in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Until it stops until when the first person bleeds. That's when we stop this fight. So you have to do it. Yeah. And I was faced across with the guy that brought me to Warrior Week, and I was like, dude, I gotta hit that guy. I love that guy. I can't hit that guy. That really messed me up. And that's we go into this room, the gym, right? And I see all this medical gauze and stuff. It was totally for show. I don't want to give it away, but that freaked me out. I'm like, what's going on here? What's all this medical stuff and the gauze and the whole table full of medical, bandages and stuff like that? I don't like this.
Yeah, man.
I don't like
for me, it was the Inquisition.
What's that? What's that about? What's that do?
That's on day one. They didn't do that with you guys. So it was day one.
Describe it to me, because I don't.
It was day one. It was late, and we're all. It's where you get dunked into the water.
Oh, okay. We got some dunking, but we didn't call it that. I don't remember.
Yeah, that messed me up. And then the next day, on the beach, the crawling.
That was a bad one.
Not so much physically, but when they had us stop and we're all laying on our bellies, and the coach put the picture of my wife and I on the ground in front of me, and I just lost it. I lost it because for the first time in a long time, I felt the pain that I was putting my wife through. All those years of having my gym and not having compassion for what I was dragging her through. When I had the gym, when you're running a business by yourself, the income's like this. Yeah. I had no compassion for what that was doing to her, and I just told her, I go, this is the life of an entrepreneur. Get used to it. And so, I had no idea how that was messing with her certainty and security. It was not giving her certainty and security. But that moment on the beach, man, it all just hit me. And so I was like, okay, I get it.
Do you have kids?
Don't.
It's intense, man. Yeah, that. I was thinking. I mean, I have 3 daughters, and it was my daughter Emma. So, again, for the people that don't know what we're talking about, we had this exercise on the beach where we're crawling through the beach. We're wet, and we can feel the sand like an abrasion on our skin. And the point of that is to get us to feel what it's like, what it feels like. So basically, we're the sand in the other person's life. So when they're having a rough time and it's abrasive, we're the abrasive part in their lives. So that's what that's about. That was just so a lot of things in Warrior Week we do that look cool on video, but there's a reason for them. It's not just for a beat down. I've never got that. We don't do beat downs. It's an exercise to help us to learn something, and that exercise helps us learn that how it feels for the other person when we are the sand in their life. And that for me, that was me. For me, it was Emma. Like so, I was the sand in her. So that really touched me because I realized. I didn't have a good relationship with her. We butted heads a lot, and so I did that for her. Like I had no compassion for her, just like you with your wife. Like zero compassion. Like just deal with it. Why are you such a you cry like a girl. That kind of It's just like there's no feeling behind it.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. That was also a good one.
Yeah.
The collision for me is the one because I so used to not colliding with people or not speaking up for myself, so to collide was like that messed me up because like that's what I had to do. Like I had to collide with my clients and to have those conversations that I've been avoiding, even with myself, about finances, about my body, about all kinds of stuff. So that was huge. Most men don't collide, meaning they don't step up to those things that the conversation that they need to have. Even just like, hey man, you owe me money. This is not cool. Speaking of money, there's a client who owes me money. They're behind on their invoices. But I keep having this conversation like, hey, this is not cool. How can we fix this? So I used to be a little bitch about it and, and throw a fit. My ego got hurt. But like now I can just say, hey, this is not right. Let's have a conversation about this. How can we resolve this? How can we fix this? So that's a huge...
How has that been received?
It's made it good. Yeah. So what I propose to them is like, hey, let's do like retainer. Let's just pay me a flat rate every month.
Yeah.
And I don't have to bill you. I'll do as much work as you can send my way. And I'm not going to track it. I'm just going to do the work. All I ask is that you pay me on time.
There you go.
And you can ask me as much. And that's what I've been doing. That's actually the model that I'm getting into the subscription model. Basically, you pay me a flat rate.
Yeah.
And send me as much work as you want. And I'll do all the work.
Rather than like... per hour or per project?
Per hour, I'm in this really cool place where I'm like, I want to give to my clients. I want to like bless them. I want to like bless their socks, do all the work for them, and like help them succeed as much as. I mean, if they call me at 5 o'clock on Friday and they say, hey man, I need this by Monday, I'll do it. No extra charge. So that's what I'm doing. Like I'm trying that because it feels good to do that. It sounds weird.
Yeah.
But it feels good to serve my clients in that manner. And I don't want to track. Listen, the last thing I want to do is track my time. I don't want to track my time. And I don't want to, hassle you for, I gotta add quarter of an hour. I gotta add that, and I did this, and I called that, and I gotta add, that I hate that because that takes away for what I do best is the graphic design. I love that creating is what I do best. That's all I want to do. And I told the client, I said, listen, you pay me a flat rate. I'm not gonna trip on anything you send me. I'll do it. Just pay me on time. That's all I want is pay me on time, and just let me serve you. Let me do the work.
Yeah.
Let me focus on the work so I don't have to think about the billing. I hate the billing part. I mean, I'll do it, but I don't like that part. I'd rather get paid and do the work.
Sounds like you're going down the subscription path that works for you. So good.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do, but but that's what feels good. It feels like the right thing to do. Because nobody else is doing it. Everybody's like, nickel and dime. I don't want to nickel and dime you. It takes away from my joy of doing the work that I love doing.
Yeah.
I want to remove that and just let me do the work for you. And let's not talk about the money. Just pay me on, flat rate. And that's it. That's it.
There you go.
There you go. Big gum. Get her done.
There you go. That's it. That's the work.
So my deliverable is for the month is to get, to trying to find 2 more clients who want to do that with me. But what I really want to do is just do this all day long, like do podcasts every freaking day.
You might be headed towards a pivot, man.
I know. I mean,
God works
I feel
that
a little
way.
weird, like, yeah, I feel a little weird, like coming to the wall. It's like, my deliverable of the week is do as many podcasts as I can.
God works that way sometimes.
I know. What's really cool, yesterday I published the first video.
Yep.
So I was able to, dude, I get to talk. This is my favorite part. I get to talk. This is what I do. Like,
that was Nathan.
So I get to
right?
talk. Huh?
Nathan, right?
What?
Nathan's
Say
episode?
again? Yeah.
Nathan, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. So out of that, I got to do video editing. I got to do like graphic design, the branding, and all the things that go into it. There's a lot of things, tech and hooking things up, and I was so happy, dude. I was so happy. Like, I get to do all the things that I love doing. It's only one ball.
I'm swimming in the mud.
I'm just all of it, like all of it. I get to do everything I want to do, like a little boy in the playground. Like this podcast is literally like, I want to thank you for coming on my show because I get to do more of it. Like, I get to ask you cool questions, get to know you, and then after this, I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to, edit this thing, and I'm going to make a little thumbnail. You're going to send me a cool picture of yourself so I can do a little thumbnail for you.
I don't know that I have a cool picture, but
well, just a good picture,
send
send me something because it's going to be on the thumbnail.
The thumb. You see the thumb right there?
Thumbnails, and I'm going to come up with some sort of. What do we want to call this show? Do you have any idea? Like, give me some ideas. Like, what would be a good title for the show? Get her done, Scottish style. I'll have. Don't worry about it. I'll have ChatGPT come up with a cool.
Do it, man.
Here's what I did. This thing creates the notes, and then so what I did is I cut and paste the notes into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I said, this is what I'm doing. I got the show. This is the title. Like, give me a cool title, blah blah blah, and it gives me like the title of the thumbnail, the description.
Nice.
Kind of like encompass what we're doing here.
The Filipino Scotsman.
Filipino Scotsman. Man of mystery and great food. Oh, aye.
Hey, so...
yeah, they should have a Filipino 007. I'm just saying it's time. It's time, bro, to represent. Hey, you got my vote.
England.
Yes.
Chip Buddy. Chip Buddy.
I don't know what that is. What are you talking about?
Fries or chips, right?
Oh, chips.
Yeah.
Fish and chips.
Well, French fries, they're chips, right?
Chips.
Chip. Yeah. Butter on bread, fries.
Yeah.
Chip Buddy. Huh? Okay, never mind.
I don't know what you're talking.
Must be a pub thing.
I missed that one.
It's a pub thing.
I don't know. I've never had that.
Okay.
Fish and chips. I know fish and chips with malt vinegar.
Malt vinegar. Although I hear that's not the dish of England. It's chicken tikka, isn't it?
Well, because a lot of Indians are there. But back in my day,
in
my day, it was fish and chips.
Okay. That's yeah.
With malt vinegar and lots of salt.
Yep.
Don't mess with the malt vinegar. Actually, the English are known for overcooking everything, so that's a whole nother thing.
It's all boiled to death.
I'm surprised they produced what's his name, the cooking guy.
Gordon Ramsay.
What's his name? Yes, I'm surprised he came out of England.
He's a revolt to all the things overcooked.
Right. He's there to tell people, what is this? What is this? This is a
look it up,
God
man.
bless him. He's doing God's work. He's doing God's work.
He's saving the country's cooking.
So when I lived with my grandparents, my grandfather used to scrape everything off the frying pan, and he would say, "Waste not, want not."
The bits.
All the bits, all the burnt bits and everything. He would just scrape them off. So I lived with my grandparents for a few years because my parents were kind of split up. It was kind of weird. So I ended up living with my wonderful grandfather named George, and he was a golfer and he was a woodworker, and I actually have all his chisels. He gave me all his tools before he passed away. So he taught me how to woodwork, and he suffered through my inability to play golf. But I did caddy for him, and I used to, go with him. And there's one golf course. There's different spots. So there's a spot for fruit, there's a spot for like the ditch with all the fine golf balls. So I would sort of run around as he played his game to find golf balls and fruit and things. So we'd come back to the house and we'd wash the golf balls and figure out which ones were good and bad. So that was wonderful. Wonderful growing up. He used to visit us in Greece. Dude, he used to visit us in Greece, and he had this old leather case. So as soon as he'd open it, the smell would come out. Their smell.
Yeah.
It was like smell of wonder, of grand people, of old people. It was like there was things in there. He would bring all his little bits and pieces, like a little knife and a little monocle and all kinds of things, and like candy, and it was like there was like mystery and there was like
Yep.
surprise and awesome gifts. It
Yep.
was always great. And then 3 days later, my grandma would make my mom cry. That was a thing. You know, she would say something awful to my mother and she would cry. So, but grandfather was great. Grandma not so great. She had issues, man. She got triggered 3 days later, exactly on time. She would just say some.
What's really going on?
What's really going on is that she didn't like my mother, and she had it in for her. She didn't think my mother was good enough for her son.
All right.
Greeks were savages compared to the English people. That's the whole thing. Dude, I brought my grandfather to a pizza place one time, and we're about to eat pizza with a hand. He's like, where are the knives and forks? He had never, first of all, he had never eaten pizza in his life, and never had eaten with his hands in his life. So he's like, we got some knives and forks, we're eating. You know, he used to like come around me, grab my hands, and show me how to eat with a knife and fork. Very proper. And when I went to school there, and I'd come home speaking Cockney, with a Cockney accent.
Oh, because he was English.
Speak proper English.
Oh, the Queen's English.
Yes, but he was actually a Cockney. He lived within earshot of the bells of whatever.
Yeah.
There's some church with bells, and if you can hear the bells, you're a Cockney. So he actually was born there. So he's kind of reformed and, you know, changed his ways so he's more proper. You know, so they never allowed me to speak Cockney. And
that's a different accent entirely.
Oh my gosh. So, anyways, I don't know, dude. I think we're good. Can we call it a day? That's 2 hours. That's a wrap, man.
Good night,
I'm tired,
Costas. Good night,
time is
John
it?
boy. Good night.
I used to watch that show too, bro. Don't even get me started.
All right, let's not.
What we need to do is do another show. Like down the road, we'll like do episode like, you know, pick your favorite luckiest Filipino number, and we'll do that show and that. You know,
Something.
like, do you have a lucky number? What's the lucky number in Philippines?
Nah.
99? I don't know.
Yo no sé. I don't know. 100. I don't know. That's what's on your...
I got 100K followers or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, man.
So I hope you had a good time. I hope this was enjoyable for you as it was for me.
Absolutely, man.
So, all right, man.